I noticed that especially in last year, there's a changing shift in the customer's expectation again. When COVID broke out and the government, encouraged the use of robots to solve manpower issues and also to mitigate the spread of the potential spread of the virus and everything. And it was the first time that robotics were used in F&B service. And there's always this what we call the novelty period, where customers didn't mind so much about, robots serving the food. And then given that you were in a COVID mental state, people could more or less accept it. But now that we are out of it, people realize that robots are just basically robots. And if you go to a restaurant and you have to pay 10% service charge, and you're being served by a robot that cannot bring you the little things that you want, people will start to have different expectations again. And this is all changing now because, of course, the GST increase is just a rub-in, but, you ask anybody that dines out frequently, they look at it, is that now they see the whole bill as a 20% increase, but they're not getting value in terms of service, and the robots don't really bring everything properly. If let's say at the loading point in the kitchen, the person who loads the food onto the robot to serve it out doesn't make it doesn't put all the right condiments to go with the dish or whatever, and then the robot goes out and the customer is not happy because doesn't get everything that he wants. So I feel that customers' expectations are really changing again. 2023, 2024, with all this increase in extras that customers are paying, they will demand more. They will demand a lot more, in fact.
I think that we have a very demanding clientele in Singapore anyway, right? Whether it's at the high or the low end. So what is one thing that one piece of advice you would give somebody trying to get into this F&B space, trying to do a startup? What sort of strategy would be the most suitable for somebody trying to start something now?
I think the first thing I would tell him is F&B is not a startup business. I mean that one I'm damn clear, okay? Because it's not about trial and errors, okay? You have to be clear about what you want to do. What is your concept going to be? Can you afford to do it? Like what we told earlier about capital cost, etc., etc. And is it sustainable? So it's not a startup, okay? It's not a business where you can win millions and millions until you're going to see some profit. It doesn't work like that. So I think that's the first advice I would give him. The second advice I would give him, I say, hey, dude, this is not a hobby, okay? This is a profession, okay? A profession, okay? Now, if you want to burn cash, okay, go jolly well, have fun, okay? But actually, it is a profession. You have to be professionalized. By the way, do you know that now in Europe, you need to have a license to operate a restaurant? You have to be professionally trained before you can even claim to operate one. I think Singapore maybe want to look at that, So we avoid to have all the bad apples around. We're just here to disturb the market, but we have real professionals setting up real restaurants, real F&B destinations. That would be a great movement to start. I don't know what you think, but that's my viewpoint.
I just want to add on a little bit of what Christophe was mentioning. The perfect recipe for restaurant disaster is you get a bunch of non-F&B investors who think they have a lot of extra money to throw in, and then you get one guy who's F&B passionate, to run the show, and then they set all kinds of unrealistic ROIs and expectations, like they want to bring in the money, get back the capital within a couple of months, bring in the money and then start to multiply, open up multiple outlets. Sometimes it's just not that. It's just that not realistic in a way. I mean, many new F&B owners do not realize that the real money only comes in after 2-3 years of hard work, and that's when you have a sustainable client and returning customers big enough to keep supporting you. And customer loyalty in Singapore is always a big question, a real big question. I think Hui Nan should be able to relate to that. How many people come for the first time and then you don't see them again?
You have to work really hard to
grow
your
your food is not good. It's not because your food is not good or your service is not good. Singaporeans have, Singaporeans, I feel that they are always curious. They move on very fast. what we call in Cantonese that the new toilet bowl is always more exotic, so they always want to check it out, if you understand what we Cantonese people always say, the new toilet bowl is always more exotic. So they want to move on fast quickly. But they also, I feel that sometimes they also do not know where the benchmark reference is. Like, my parents, when they bring us out for hawker food in our childhood days, they will tell us, this is the best, this is the good one, this is where you get a good reference of the taste expectations. So we get an education, a live education on the spot on that. And it registers in our head, okay, this is the best mee pok that we have eaten in Singapore, this is the best beef noodles, this is the best char kway teow or whatever. But kids nowadays, the younger generation, the taste buds, they don't care. They only want to try new things. This is my observation. I don't know, maybe for Hui Nan, you can see that trend as well, in our customer profile.
Definitely. I mean, we do see, the demographic that is about clocking the new experiences, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's about understanding that at the start you will get this demographic, and then as you progress, you get the people who like it will come back, the repeat customers in a way. Yeah. But I think what I really my biggest takeaway, and I think I speak from a previous legal standpoint, like as an ex-lawyer, I speak from that perspective.